In this episode, you're going to hear the brave story of a Major League Baseball player, a big-time public figure who stood up, risked his own livelihood to say something true and stand against pride. And then how he backed down when it mattered the most. Welcome back to Spare No Arrows. My name is Cody Lawrence, and I got a new microphone. So if you can tell a difference from how it used to sound, if you think it sounds better or worse, or if you honestly can't tell the difference at all, shoot me a message on Instagram if you think about it, and just let me know how it sounds. So we're going to talk about Anthony Bass. Anthony Bass is a Major League Baseball player for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, if I get any baseball stuff wrong, please forgive me, because I'm not a big sports guy. I'm not really into sports. I don't really watch sports. I think it's cool here in Kansas City where I am when the Chiefs do well or when the Royals do well. But I don't really watch anything other than the World Series or the Super Bowl, right? So that's me. But what I do care about is Christians, especially when Christians do something really, really brave or really, really stupid. And hey, this story hits both of those marks because we see Anthony Bass doing something really brave and impressive, and then he backs out at the last minute. So I think this is a wonderful example of a story of something that we ought not to do. Now, I also would like to plug some brothers of mine and their podcast. They are sports guys, and these gentlemen actually go to my church. And they have a podcast called Kingdom City. And so if you like sports, you should go check them out. So let me tell you a little bit about Anthony Bass. Again, I don't know much about baseball. I just looked this up. But let's look at how much money Anthony Bass has, just for a consideration. Seems like he's been playing baseball for quite a few years. It looks like his first contract might have been in 2008. His average salary, just according to this random website that I pulled up, was $166,000, which is more than the vast majority of people in America, even the vast majority of families. If two people work, that's more than what they make. So when he first started, made more money than like anyone, right? So that was in 2008. And then let's skip ahead to the past few years. It says here in 2021, his salary was maybe around $1 million a year. In 2022, his salary was also, it says his payroll salary was $3 million. His adjusted salary was $1 million. I don't really know what that means. But in 2023, his adjusted salary and his payroll and his base, it all says $3 million. So this guy might be making somewhere around $3 million a year. Let's just keep that in mind. So here's what Anthony Bass did. Here was the great sin that he committed against the left. He shared a post on his social media. It wasn't even something that he personally said, but he shared a post from somebody else. The guy who he shared, his Instagram handle is Dude with Good News. Dude with Good News. And so I want to play the video for you and show you what Dude with Good News said. This video that Anthony Bass shared to his social media page. So let's take a listen.
Here's the reason biblically why I believe Christians ought to be boycotting Target and Bud Light and any other corporation that's pushing the things they're pushing. I think a lot of people make this into a political issue, or they say, oh, what's the big deal? If, is it really going to make that big of a difference if I'm shopping there or not shopping there? Here's what the Bible says. It tells us what to do as Christians in Ephesians chapter 5. It says this: take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them, for it is shameful to even talk of the things that they do in secret. So what does that mean, to take no part? Well, what's Target do? It's a business. They make money. They sell things. And to take part in that is to take part in that God of mammon that they're serving, and to take part in the darkness that they're purveying and getting out to the world and shoving into children's faces. And to take part in that is to give them your money. And I believe the Bible gives us radical precedent to say, no, we are running from that, and to instead expose those things, to shout it to all the people that have ears to hear that this is evil, this is demonic. We won't stand for it. We're not going to go to the stores anymore, and we're not going to give them our money. We're going to let our voice be heard so that people can see the light and so that people can be pulled out of the darkness.
Amen to that. That was a great post. That's totally true. We need to not participate in works of darkness, but expose them. And so, and you know, that's what the Bible says. And if we're Christians, if we're faithful followers of Christ, we need to realize that, you know, the Bible is God's word, and God's word is, you know, more important than any man's words, any kind of authority on earth, right? And so Anthony Bass, this baseball player with a massive, massive platform, with loads of fans, undoubtedly, with a massive paycheck, someone who makes more money in 1 year than most Americans make, in most families even make in their entire lives. This guy, Anthony Bass. Tons of people watch sports. Tons of people love baseball. It's, you know, the American sport, even though this guy's from Toronto. I'm sure a lot of Americans know about the Blue Jays, and they have heard of Anthony Bass, maybe. I haven't, but I bet a lot of people have. And this guy who has this huge platform shares that post to his social media page. Amen. Awesome. Like, that's impressive. That's brave. And assuming that Anthony heard that and he agreed with it, and he's a Christian, like, in fact, on his personal Instagram page, it's at Anthony E. Bass. His bio says Anthony Bass, athlete, and then the description says, love God, love my girls, alumni of a school. And then Mark 10:27, I'm looking this up on the fly just because I'm curious what it says. Mark 10:27 says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but not with God. All things are possible with God. All right, well, I guess it wasn't possible for Anthony to stand up against the woke mob, because that's exactly what he did. So right after he shared this post, evidently his baseball team talked to him. They had a little chit chat, and they didn't like what Anthony said, or maybe they did, you know, who knows. But the noisy minority of purple-haired, overweight, you know, I mean, they're very likely to be overweight. Not all of them are overweight. Not all of them have blue hair, but they're very likely to have blue hair. People who chop off their body parts and try to create new ones out of butt skin and, you know, all kinds of crazy, nasty stuff. Those people, those mentally ill lunatics, they probably don't even like baseball. I don't know of any trans people that like baseball. You know, I'm sure they're out there, but those people, the sexual deviant community, they didn't like that. They don't like the sound of that. They don't think that we should be boycotting places like Target for targeting children with a message of unbiblical sexual deviance. So every single Christian should be against this. And I think there's probably more Christians than there are, wacky trans people in the country. But they are noisy enough that they can change the tune of an entire baseball stadium, which is ironic because I also heard the news that there was was it a Budweiser selling thing that was totally empty at some big baseball game? I don't know. Like I said, I don't follow sports, but people are voting with their dollars. And these companies that are doing these things, they're losing an incredible amount of money, like Budweiser, like Target, whatever. And yet we see sports teams capitulating to the woke mob like this. So I'm going to play another video for us of what Anthony Bass followed up and said after, like in the game right after he shared that post. Here we go.
Ready? Yep. Yeah, I'll make this quick. I recognized yesterday I made a post that was hurtful to the Pride community, which includes friends of mine and close family members of mine, and I am truly sorry for that. I just spoke with my teammates and shared with them my actions yesterday. I apologized with them, and as of right now, I'm using the Blue Jays resources to better educate myself, to make better decisions moving forward. The ballpark is for everybody. We include all fans at the ballpark, and we want to welcome everybody. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
So that's all he has to say. And the ballpark welcomes everybody. Evidently, they don't welcome faithful Christians, because faithful Christians not like Anthony Bass, but faithful Christians who are actually willing to stand up and say stuff like this and stick to it. They are, based on his statement right there, they're not welcomed. And so here's what's happening. When he entered the stadium, the field, he was welcomed with loads of boos, and evidently he gave that speech, and then, it's all better, right? That made everything better. That, screw the Christians. I made the LGBT community proud. Thanks. I love the Pride community. My friends and family is a part of the Pride community, which is super weird. Why do you have gay friends? I don't know. I don't have any gay friends. I don't think I would have any gay friends. Anyway, family members, you can't really avoid that sometimes. I have gay family members, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. But anyway, that statement made me feel unwelcome, because I know if I were to set foot in that stadium, which I would never, because, this makes me like sports even less, I know they hate my views. Now, the thing is, and we've said this before, neutrality is impossible. Neutrality is impossible. You can't just be like, well, or whatever you believe is okay, because Christians believe that homosexuality is wrong. Homosexuals believe Christianity is wrong. And so if these people think neutrality is possible, in a way, you could pick neither position, and that, I guess, would be true neutrality. But in this situation, they're trying to appease both parties, and you cannot do that. They're appeasing the sexual deviant community, and they are kicking out all of the Christians. And I would imagine that, just the stereotypical sports fan is probably more likely to be Christian than gay or trans. You're more likely to be a Christian than you are to be trans. Although there are a lot of nominal Christians, quote unquote Christians, who don't care one way or another and are like, gay is fine, even though the gay people hate their guts, right? Or hate their religion. Interesting. And so to me, the saddest part of this is that this guy has a platform, and surely he was, I don't know anything about Anthony Bass. Maybe his entire team said, hey, buddy, if you don't take that back right now, we're going to come to your house and we're going to kill your family. Maybe he's protecting the lives of his family, in which case, that might be justified. Lying to, one of those things was a lie. One of those statements, either the social media post he shared, he's lying about, or the apology he's lying about. But one of them, they both can't be true at the same time. He can't post that and have the apology at the same time. And in fact, by doing that, he made enemies of not only the sexual deviant community, but he also made enemies of his brothers and sisters in Christ, because he did something that displeased both of them, right? It's not like the gays are happy now because he apologized. They're not happy. It's impossible to please them by apologizing. They will not be happy until you're destroyed. And in fact, they're not even going to be happy then, because they're joyless, awful people, right? And they need Jesus. But the saddest part to me about this is how Anthony he makes more money in 1 year than somebody could make in their whole life. And so the most likely thing is to say, like, Anthony, if you don't apologize, we got to let you go. Two things could happen. One, he could say, no, well, really three things. One thing is the thing that actually happened, that he backed down to keep his job, when he's probably already got millions of dollars in the bank, right? But the other two things that could happen is this. He could say, yeah, all right, fire me. Good luck. We'll see what the fans have to say. And I bet in that situation, the fans would have come to his aid and he would be seen as a hero. Or he would have said, no, I'm not going to back down, and I'm not going to resign. I'm not going to let you fire me. I'm going to fight you. In which case, the stadium probably would have backed down. Now, we don't know what would have happened. But, even if the stadium didn't back down and he got fired, he would have been a hero. If he didn't back down and the stadium did back down, he would still be a hero. He had an opportunity to do something great and brave. But here's what happens. We speak a big game as Christians. And when rubber actually hits the road, we fail. We back out. We lose our nerve. And so I think the thing that we can learn from this story, the thing that we have to ask ourselves is, where do we draw the line with things like this? Are we willing to come out and say things on a podcast like the Pride community is full of sexual deviance? In fact, that is exclusively what the Pride community is, and it is anti-Christian, and it is sinful, and they should repent and believe in Jesus totally. Are we willing to publicly say things like that? Or, and then actually, when push comes to shove, stick with it and say, yeah, do to me whatever you want. Because my king is God, not you. I don't listen to you. I listen to God. Or will we back down when it matters the most? Because it seems to me, if you're not willing to lose your paycheck, knowing full well that there is a possibility, if you speak out on something like this month in our culture, that something like this is very likely going to happen. But if you're not willing to lose your paycheck knowing that this is probably going to happen, then you shouldn't be saying anything, right? You're going to be lying. You're a liar. You're not actually standing up for the truth. You're standing up to whatever, gets you the most attention at the time. If somebody says something to make their immediate circle, or, if you say you're a Christian and you say something that a lot of other Christians are going to like, hey, you're popular all of a sudden. This is why we have big mega churches in America, because there are weak, spineless men behind pulpits who want to say stuff to please people. But when push comes to shove, they shut their church down because the government says so, for lockdowns. This is Christianity in our nation, and Canada also, because the story of Anthony Bass is a perfect example of the failure of Christians standing up for truth. You don't sign up to go to war if you're not willing to shoot anybody, or if you're not willing to be shot yourself. Just don't sign up for war. Just get out of everybody else's way. You're literally hurting the group. You're hurting the good guys if you pretend to be one of the good guys and then you back out last minute. Because was this a victory for Christians, or was it a victory for the sexual deviant community? It was a victory for the sexual deviant community, for the LGBT community. Because he apologized. This was not a victory for Christianity. This was not proclaiming that Christ is Lord. This is proclaiming that the gay people are Lord, because the gay people can tell me what to do. They can tell the stadium what to do. They can tell my team what to do. They can tell my coaches, my managers, whatever kind of stupid positions there are. They can tell them what to do. My team's Lord is not God. My team's Lord is not common sense. It is not rationality. It is the gay people. because if they make enough noise, that will change my mind, regardless of what God says, regardless of what common sense or reason says, or what the majority of rational people who aren't willing to cause a hubbub say. This is not proclaiming Christ as Lord. This was a victory for the gays, and when anybody wins a battle, if you're doing anything in life and it's a challenge and there's multiple of those things that you have to do, every success typically motivates you for more successes. If you're playing some kind of board game or, any kind of game with somebody, the more you win, the more you're motivated to try harder to win. This happens surely in sports. When a sports team starts winning, they're more likely to keep winning. If a sports team loses a lot, that damages the morale of the team. At least that's what happened when I was in sports. And so this is what is happening, I think, with the LGBT community. They are getting these victories, and we are making so many tactical losses in America. What we need is some wins. What we need is Christians willing to speak out and speak the truth and actually stick with it. Actually not back down about the true things that they say. And win. Win battles. Proclaim that Christ is Lord, especially this month where the entire nation, where the entire West, or at least America and Canada, are ensconced in gay imagery and the sin of pride and lust. That's what our country is dripping with this month. And so of all of the months where Christians should be standing up for truth, this month is it. And Anthony Bass, he failed. He failed big time. I pray for him that he, stands strong in the truth, that he's actually willing to lose his paycheck or his job, and that he's willing to draw the line in the place that God draws the line. Now, again, like I said, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with him, but just from a public standpoint, from like a public optics perspective, this is a loss. If he was unwilling to lose his job, if he expected this to happen, or if you could expect this to happen, which of course you could, of course this was going to happen. Of course they would ask him to apologize. And if you knew that, if they ask me, I'll apologize, then just stay out of the fight. Don't make this a loss. Don't even try. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you can't fight with us, then don't sign up. Don't sign up for the battle. If you're not willing to pick up your gun and shoot or get shot, you're literally just getting in the way. Keep your faith private and do your best there. And sometimes in some situations, that's literally the best we can do. But if you are a public figure, or if you've got any amount of public voice and you are willing to stand up for the truth, don't back down. Don't back down. It looks so bad. And that is not what Christianity, in the vast majority of the history of Christianity for the past 2,000 years since the very beginning, was. Christians stood up for truth and they did not back down. If Christians 2,000 years ago acted anything remotely close to the way Christians act today, Christianity wouldn't exist. It wouldn't exist. Christianity would not exist because of cowards. And so what we need to do in America and in Canada, in the West, anywhere where people proclaim Christ as Lord, is actually believe and act like Christ is Lord. That's all I got. God bless. Catch you next time.